दिलों में प्यार की खुशबू तो होठों पर दुआ रखना दिलों में प्यार की खुशबू तो होठों पर दुआ रखना ईमान में वक्त से एक रिश्ता इश्क वफा रखना ईमान में वक्त से
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Friday Sermon for Kids. You already know what we do here. We talk about the beautiful wisdom present in beloved Huzoor's Friday Sermon. Nobody does this alone here. Every single week with me are two panelists. They're sitting to my right this week as well. This week I have Monis to my right, and to his right is Waleed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Jazakumullah for being here, dear brothers. So, dear audience, beloved Huzoor started to talk about a very, very profound topic this week. Let's learn about it.
देखो, इब्राहीम अलैहिस्सलाम ने एक दुआ की थी कि उसकी औलाद में से अरब में एक नबी हो। फिर क्या वो उसी वक्त कबूल हो गई? इब्राहीम के बाद एक अरसे दराज तक किसी को ख्याल भी नहीं आया कि इस दुआ का क्या असर हुआ, लेकिन रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की बेइज्जत की सूरत में वो दुआ पूरी हुई और फिर किस चांद के साथ पूरी हुई।
So, dear audience, beloved Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, presented a very, very detailed sermon on what dua, that is, prayer, actually is and how to do it properly. And to be honest, everyone ends up learning something new about it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is because many people don't really know how big the topic of dua really is.
Exactly. Not knowing how to use something properly can really cause big problems.
Exactly, Monis. But it's time for your newly learned points, guys. So, what did you learn?
The new thing I learned from beloved Huzoor's Friday sermon was that when someone does not have full trust in Islam or Allah, then they can easily be attacked by Satan for negative thoughts.
This week, I learned that the promised Messiah ﷺ once said that he who does not forget Allah the Almighty during times of ease is not forgotten by Allah the Almighty during times of hardship.
Absolutely beautiful words. Both of you guys, beautiful points. And we're going to be getting into that, but after we hear all of your newly learned points. So, dear audience, for that, we will straight to Kids Take.
In today's Friday sermon, I learned that problems come so we can do dua and connect with Allah Ta'ala.
Huzoor Aidullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz quoted that the promised Messiah ﷺ said, "It is due to Allah's mercy that one who is fearful during times of comfort is also fearful in times of distress."
Beloved Huzoor told us in this week's sermon that the key to prayer is patience.
I learned in the Friday sermon that it is a duty of a Muslim that even in positive circumstances, he or she should fulfill the rights of Allah and His creation and should never forget them.
His Holiness said that one should never forget God, and if one is fulfilling this right, then God Almighty saves such a person from hardship.
Jazakallah asal, dear audience, for your beautiful takes. And always remember, we love to hear your kids' take. So if you forgot us this week, make sure you send it in next week. Okay, it is time to get to our discussion.
Murabi Sahib, Huzoor Aidullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz mentioned how there is a big problem in our day and age.
Yeah, and this even affects people in our own Jamaat, right?
As unfortunate as it is, it's actually true. Huzoor mentioned how this problem has basically spread all over the world slowly, where people have started thinking that if their prayers are not answered, or if they don't get what they're asking for from Allah or from God, they end up thinking that the religion that they believe in or religion itself is just false. Or they just start believing that God is never going to accept their prayer, and God is simply uninterested, and God is not merciful, and God does not care at all about them, right? And the problem is these are real world problems that are affecting people's beliefs about God.
That is very unfortunate. Both the difficult times and the negative thoughts they have because of those times.
But we obviously know there's more to the story here.
That is 100% correct, Monis, because Huzoor mentioned that a lot of these people who end up, after not having their prayers heard, becoming atheists, a lot of these people had a certain problem. What they actually were looking for their entire life was worldly and material things. It's material things they wanted. They wanted to get rich, or they wanted to have a lot of money, or they wanted to have a big house, or, a nice car. And those were the types of things that those people were constantly after. And once they didn't get them, they thought, okay, well, because I couldn't get this thing as a result of a prayer, clearly there's no God behind it. And so this is the most important lesson to learn here. So Huzoor mentioned something very, very beautiful and important, which the promised Messiah ﷺ has said that those people should have kept in mind. And that's something that, Waleed, you mentioned in your newly learned point. The promised Messiah says that those who remember God in their good times, God remembers them in their bad times. It's because when these people had good wealth and money and they were happy, they completely forgot about God. They're like, we don't even have to worry about Him. No need to care about all these rules that Islam has given us or religion itself has given us. Let's just go ahead and enjoy life only, right? But then when the bad times came, that's when they all of a sudden realized, okay, now we got to start praying. So Huzoor said, the real fruit of prayer only shows up when you are doing it both in the hard times as well as the good times.
But there's a lot more to this, right?
There absolutely is, Waleed. As a matter of fact, Huzoor presented something that we should all know about. Those are the adab of praying.
That word does sound really familiar, but
I just can't find an English word to describe it.
Well, to find definitely more than one English word for it and a whole lot more, we're going to be going over to our first time but very trusted presenter, Atar, who's going to take it away with the word of the sermon.
Jazakallah, Rabbi Sahib. So the term adab is originally Arabic but also used in many other languages like Persian and Urdu as well. When translated into English, these two words come closest to defining it: manners or etiquettes. Manners exist everywhere in our lives. It's how we interact and talk to others. What decides your manners is your own position in life and what the position of the other person is. For example, when you speak to your friends, you're usually pretty open and loose with your words. But when the talk is with an older adult, you're more formal. The promised Messiah ﷺ says, when you are asking Allah for something, you should never be ordering Him because you are His servant, not the other way around. In other words, one should always be humble in prayer. Why that's so important is what you'll be learning about next. Back to you guys.
Jazakallah Ahsan Atar, very, very nicely done, and you are right. Manners matter a lot.
manners do matter, but then why are they so important?
Let's try to understand this with an example, and it'll probably make things easier for you. And the promised Messiah ﷺ talked about this as well. Huzoor presented this actual example, right? Imagine there is a king of an entire empire, right? And then you have a lowly servant in that castle, or it could just be a commoner person, right? Just coming in, right? And just starting to order the king around and just telling the king, do this for me, okay? Get up, go get this for me, right? How exactly would the king react to that? Well, that servant is going to get punished pretty hard for his behavior, if anything, right? So Huzoor says, when you as a human being are going in front of God, remember that other king was just a king of a worldly empire that's probably going to crumble away in a few centuries. But Allah is the king of the entire universe. That is the being you're presenting yourself in front of. And so for that reason, you need to keep that in your mind when starting your prayer. That's going to give you an idea of what kind of manners you need to have when presenting yourself in prayer. And in regards to that, Huzoor presented a specific prayer, which is a very, very popular and famous and beautiful prayer, where Allah teaches us about His own attributes by which we should call Him in prayer.
What prayer is that?
Well, think about it, guys. It's those famous 7 verses that we recite in every single rakat of every single namaz?
Surah Al-Fatiha.
Absolutely. And that is the prayer that Allah has taught us. It is the most beautiful prayer that Allah has taught us on how we need to first address Allah so that we understand what we are trying to address ourselves to, what we are praying to. Number one, Huzoor says, Allah calls himself Rabbul Alameen. Rabbul Alameen means who is the Lord of all the worlds, not just one or two or three worlds. However many worlds or universes may exist, He is the Lord of them all. But then the next one, He says that despite all that power, He is Ar-Rahman. He is the most gracious. He's the one that gave you everything without you ever even asked for it. You never asked for sight. You never asked Allah to give you a body. You never asked Allah to be able to speak. You never asked Allah to be given a family, a loving family who takes care of you. You never asked for any of these things. Allah gave these to you for free. Then Allah says, but He is also Ar-Rahim. He is the most merciful. If you end up failing somewhere and you make a mistake and you try to come back, Allah is the one that gave you the ability to make the effort to fix that problem. He's the one that gave it to you. But finally, He says, He is also, after all of these attributes, He is Maliki Yawmiddin. He is the master of the Day of Judgment. It's His will that decided that. You never were responsible or powerful enough to do this anyway. That is why it's so important to keep these attributes in mind while praying.
Subhanallah, the way Islam presents the idea of prayer is so profound.
Realizing the attributes of Allah the Almighty is a critical part of preparing your mind for prayer. So, Murabbi Sahib, what else did Huzoor mention this week?
There is absolutely a whole lot more stuff to talk about, Waleed, but to get into that stuff, we are going to be going into our next amazing segment, for which we go straight to your audience to the question of the sermon. Alright, dear audience, time once more for our incredible segment that you know so well. This is called the question of the sermon, where you, the audience, as well as our two panelists, have 10 seconds to get the right answer to a weekly question. Question this week is, what did beloved Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, say any and every profession has in order to get the work done in the best way possible? So you have four options. Option number one is Muqam-e Mahmud. Option number two is Muqam-e Ahmad. Option number three is Sirat-e Mubarakah. And option number four is Sirat-e Mustaqim. Time starts now. Time's up. So, Monis, what do you have?
I think it's number 4, Sirat-e Mustaqim.
And what about you, Waleed?
I also think it's number 4, Sirat-e Mustaqim.
Sirat-e Mustaqim, and your answers are absolutely correct.
Alhamdulillah. And I am guessing this is a continuation of the prayer we have been covering.
You are absolutely correct in that too, Monis. Beloved Huzoor, may Allah be his helper, said that regardless of what kind of a profession you're in, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a doctor in the medical field, Allah has made a way for you to do the best possible job in that particular field. And it is the exact same concept when it comes to prayer. And that way is called the Sirat-e Mustaqim. That is the straight path, the best possible path. And it is something that Allah teaches us in Surah Fatiha. What do we say? Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. Guide us on the straight path. You're asking Allah that when you want something, you want Him to teach you the best possible way of achieving that thing. So that is what you are asking Allah for. And when an individual does this, he needs to remember one thing 100%. Huzoor said, that person is not going to ever give up. When he's understood and learned that this thing is good, he's going to stand firmly by it. He's going to make sure that he is ready to even give his life for that cause. but he's going to be ready to stand by it. Those are the people that end up finding the acceptance of their prayer. Those are the people, Huzoor said, who end up being satisfied with Allah, and Allah becomes satisfied with them.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today.
Well, that is absolutely correct. We did cover a lot of things, and you probably understand what that means. So guys, take it away.
Got you, Rabbi Sahib. So everyone, make sure to watch Huzoor's full khutbah.
And remember to get back to us with the old critical message.
Did you enjoy this week's Friday sermon for kids? Want to know how you can make it even better? Tell us what you learned from beloved Huzoor's Friday sermon and send your videos at FS4Kids at MTA.tv no later than every Sunday, and we'll try our best to include them in our next show.
Now, we can't include all the videos you sent to us, but you can see them all on our Instagram and Twitter at MTA Canada. Remember, at Friday Sermon for Kids, you're not just the audience, you make the show. See you next week.
Okay, dear audience, time once more for our review on the sermon. New beautiful points came this week as well, so pay close attention.
Beloved Huzoor Ayyadullahu Ta'ala bin Nasir al-Aziz began his sermon describing a dangerous thinking for our time. Some people don't have their prayers answered, and as a result think either religion itself is false or that Allah will never forgive them or accept their prayers. This leads one to atheism, and it mostly happens because the people only use their prayers as a means to get worldly stuff. But there is also another very important reason why such people are unsatisfied. That is because they simply don't understand what the philosophy and etiquettes of prayer even are.
Exactly. Huzoor mentioned how, when praying, you should always remember what your own position is in front of Allah. Allah is the Lord and Creator of the universe, and we are just humble servants who often don't even realize what's good or bad for us, let alone what's good or bad for the whole world. So we should be very, very humble in front of God. To remember our humble position, we remind ourselves of the powerful attributes of Allah as told to us in Surah Al-Fatiha, that Allah is Rabbul Alameen, Lord of all the worlds, Al-Rahman, the gracious, Al-Rahim, the merciful, and Malik Yawmiddin, Master of the Day of Judgment.
But continuing on this beautiful prayer of Surah Al-Fatiha, Allah has taught us to ask from Allah the Sirat-e-Mustaqim. You know, whichever field or discipline of knowledge you look at, whether it's law, whether it's medicine, whether it's engineering, there is a professional and best way to do things. That is the Sirat-e-Mustaqim, the straight path, as explained in Surah Al-Fatiha. So we should ask Allah that He enables us to try our best to do the work in the best way possible. And of course, what's the one point that should never ever be forgotten? It's that you will never give up on a good deed and always hope and pray for the best. It's such people whose hearts become happy in Allah and Allah becomes happy with them. Now, don't forget, as we say every single time, these are just a few flowers from beloved Huzoor's Friday sermon, which is a garden of flowers. So,
make sure to watch Huzoor's full khutbah.
And until next week,
Khuda Hafiz.
जो आंसू मोतबर कर दे, खिलाफत वो सफीना है जो तूफान में किनारा है, खिलाफत वो नगी